So this happened in my book club, and it might be the pettiest thing I've ever helped organize, but I've never felt more proud of a group of adults in my life. We're a small club, 7 of us, been meeting monthly for almost 3 years in various living rooms with the same bottle of wine and the same bowl of pretzels nobody ever finishes. And for 2 of those 3 years, we've had a member, I'll call her Denise, who has one incredibly consistent habit. She spoils the ending of every single book within the first 10 minutes of every single meeting, every single month, without fail. Doesn't matter what we're reading. Doesn't matter who hasn't finished it yet. Doesn't matter how many times we've asked her, gently at first and then not so gently, to just let people experience the book. She always has the same response. Oh, come on, it's not that big a deal. It's just a book. And then she keeps going anyway, cheerfully, completely unbothered, while the rest of us sit there in this collective wince. By month 18 or so, people had basically given up reading the actual books. What was the point? Denise was going to tell you exactly how it ended, whether you wanted to know or not, usually before anyone had even sat down with their wine. Attendance was dropping. People were showing up just to eat pretzels and vent about their week instead of discussing literature, which, fine, that's a valid book club too, but it wasn't the one we signed up for. So when it was my turn to pick the next book, 3 of us who'd stayed closest got together beforehand at my kitchen table with actual printer paper and a glue stick, like we were planning something out of a heist movie instead of a mildly petty book club intervention. The plan was simple once we said it out loud. Everyone in the group would read the real book, the actual published ending and all, except Denise. Denise would get a copy with the last chapter carefully removed and replaced with a completely different ending we wrote ourselves, printed on matching paper, bound back into the book so it looked seamless. Something wildly, dramatically different from what actually happens. We told her, very casually, that a member had picked up a special early printing secondhand and thought she'd get a kick out of having it. She said that sounded fun. She had no idea. We spent an actual evening drafting this fake ending, laughing so hard at one point that my neighbor probably thought we were having some kind of book club emergency. We made sure it was detailed enough to sound real, specific character names, callbacks to earlier chapters, the whole thing, but different enough from the real ending that there was no way the actual discussion could line up with it. Then we glued it in, matched the font as best we could, and handed her the special edition a week before the meeting with completely straight faces. The night of the meeting arrived, and Denise showed up exactly like she always does, wine in hand, ready to talk before anyone had even taken their coats off. And true to form, within the first 5 minutes, she launched into the ending. Confidently, enthusiastically, completely unprompted, exactly like every month for 2 years. Except this time, she was describing an ending that only existed in a book that only she was holding. The rest of us just nodded along, sipping our wine, watching the countdown clock in our heads. Then the actual discussion started. Someone brought up a scene from the real final chapter, and Denise looked genuinely confused. She said that wasn't what happened. Someone else read a line directly from their own copy. Denise's face did this slow, dawning shift, like she was doing long division in her head and didn't like the answer. She grabbed her book, flipped to the last chapter, and started reading it out loud to prove her point. And that's when she realized, live, in front of the entire group, that her chapter didn't match a single word anyone else was saying, because it wasn't real. The silence lasted a solid 10 seconds before someone finally cracked and started laughing, and then the whole room went. Denise sat there holding her fake ending, absolutely mortified, asking over and over how this happened, and none of us had the heart, or honestly the ability, to keep a straight face long enough to explain it right away. She still comes to book club every single month. She has not spoiled a single ending since, and if she even starts to, someone just says special edition and the whole room loses it, including, eventually, her.